God. So we have clutch installed, pressure plate, everything's torqued down, 20 foot-pounds. When I first put this on here, the 12th hole wouldn't line up, no matter what I did, and the bolt wanted to be kicked out. And it was on the pin area, so I rotated to get it away from the pin, so it was down here. Same thing happened. So then, instead of making it the last bolt, I made it the first bolt, and put whatever bolts I could in. And you're not tightening them down, you're keeping like a 1/4 inch of gap here. I mean, your clutch has got to stay loose inside there, semi-loose. So the housing will be really loose. And the tool is in there while you're doing all this. But by putting the supposedly weird bent one in first, it allowed me to get the rest of them in. And then, of course, we have our tool inserted. Okay, to make sure the clutch is lined up. Then we start tightening all this down. Now, we probably had a 1/4 inch of gap here, and we only put it in less, like a 1/16 of an inch at a time, all the way around, so that it's winching down nice. And so we'll do this side, this side, this side, this side, okay? And you just don't want this thing to get cockeyed and start binding, okay? And maybe grab part of your clutch and leave the other part loose and try to pull it out and, you know, get you out of whack. So you really got to put this on nice and even. Then torque it to 20 foot-pounds. And you can't possibly do this correctly without a service tool. There's just no way. So now I'm doing the bell housing side. And where's my bell? I just had it. Here it is. So this is the side that needs new seals and O-rings. I've already pulled the seal out. Just use a screwdriver and it pops right out. O-ring comes right off. Clean it up with brake clean. But the first thing I noticed was, let me get out here in sun where you can see it. It's nice and shiny and clean. But then we got that center hole. That's where the seal's going to go. Look at all that rusty, nasty shit. That's not going to seal up good. So you have to clean that out. And you also have to wonder why it's not rusty here, okay? But right there where the seal goes, and inside the tube there, got a lot of inside the tube there. These cameras suck. You can't tell what you're seeing. So anyhow, there's rust there. And you're like, well, there was some water buildup. You got a shaft through here. It's probably limiting how much new lubricant can get up there. Obviously it's not, because it's leaking. So anyhow, for whatever reason, we want to get that rust out of there. So I'm gonna have to get the Dremel tool. There's a little bit on that next circle there. I have to get Dremel tool and a wire brush and go through this and clean it up a little bit before I put the seal in. You could probably put it in there and it wouldn't leak, but I'm gonna make sure even around the outside there, there's a little bit. Mostly it's on the base of the circle. So that's got to be cleaned up. The only thing that'll do it really is, well, the only thing I'm going to use is a Dremel tool. I'm going to sit there and use my finger, a piece of wire mesh or something. That's too much trouble. So I'll get that done. The seal and the O-ring, the book actually says they have to soak 30 minutes. So they're in my old fluid, and the bag's leaking. They're in the old fluid soaking. So I got to go get this cleaned up, put the seal in, put the O-ring on, and slap that on there. Then, once I get that done, I can clean up the bell housing. Once the bell housing is cleaned all the way up, then I can work on the clutch, dog shaft, whatever the hell you want to call it, getting that reinstalled. And once I have all that done, I'm waiting on parts, my bushing for my bearing, throwout bearing. So you probably won't see any videos for a couple days. Aren't you glad? Here he comes. Oh no, he's gonna sit down and watch now. He's in the bleachers. He's in the cut bleacher, where they have a food concession stand, but he has no ticket. Blackie. He didn't respond to his name. Why?